Talk. The topic today is, you may be right. A number of years ago when I was working with the Dallas Cowboys, one evening I did a chapel talk, they call it, and I told a story about this guy named Ed Pope, former sports writer for the Miami Herald, a legend in sports writing. But anyway, Ed Pope used to say when he would get critical letters or emails or communications, he would simply, at the bottom of that text or letter, write, "You may be right." So I told that story to the team that night. Well, about 3 or 4 days later, I went to a practice one afternoon, and during a break in the practice, one of the players who had been in that study came up to me and he said, "John," he said, "you remember that story you told about the sports writer, Ed Pope?" He said, "Well, my wife and I were talking the other night at dinner, and she was kind of picking at me, and she's kind of a fiery person anyway. And so when she said what she said, I looked at it and I said, 'Well, sweetheart, you may be right.' And she looked at me and she said, 'What's wrong with you?'" It's pretty hard to know how to handle that response. Yeah, you may be right. And so sometimes in our interactions, our reactions are showing. And instead, we need to calm down, call a timeout, and do 3 things. We need to think it through, pray it through, and speak wisely. So in the scripture in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 9, the scripture says, "Don't be quick-tempered, for anger is the friend of fools." And then in James chapter number 1, verse number 19, we read, "My dear brothers and sisters, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry." So what's the point of it? You may be right.